So I'll just start the video off with just a quick update relating to a Tropical Storm Nicole that came through. As you can tell, we don't have power. We haven't had power since early this morning. No word on when we're going to get that back, but there's some power outage in our area. We just got lucky and a tree limb came down and took out both of the power lines coming out to the property, just severed through it. But we're only I think a total of 9 households on our road, and that's not going to get the attention of the energy company up front. They've got some other areas with 500 to 1,000 people that are cut off because of falling limbs and other damage. So they'll get to us when they get to us, but we're doing fine. We had a little bit of damage to one of the sheds. We had some downed limbs and that kind of stuff, but really nothing substantial. I mean, the limb falling on the power lines was just a one-off, so the storm wasn't that bad for us. Right now, everything's okay, and then we're going to, if power's not back on in the morning, we'll be kicking on the generators and making sure that everything in the freezers doesn't have a chance to thaw. It's good for a day. It's indoors and protected, but beyond that, I'd like to get it plugged in. So that's going to be the next step. So that's an update from here. But then we'll pick up the rest of the video as per usual. Today I want to put on the barbed wire on the fence. But barbed wire comes in a roll that's 1,320 feet long, so a quarter mile. All right, that's sort of the small roll. And it does not play well with others. So caution is always most advised when dealing with barbed wire. Even the experts, you watch them like on YouTube and whatever, their movements are very deliberate. They're moving slowly. Nobody's trying to rush through it. But one of the things that I'm going to have to do as I cover the length of my fence here, which is only 220-ish feet, what I have to do though is still get it unwound from this spool. And that's heavy. I don't want to walk along and try and, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a jig for the back of the Mule here that's going to let that unwind as I drive forward. Never done that before, so we'll give it a shot, see how it looks. All right, pulled a bunch of stuff off the scrap pile, and let's see if I can make something with this. There it is. I think it's 5 out of 10. I don't know about this this pipe I'm using. It's pretty narrow gauge stuff, or pretty thin steel, but it doesn't have to last a long time, and it's not going to be fighting a lot of resistance out there. It's just rolling. There it is. I think that's going to do the job. I'm a little concerned that this pipe is not going to be strong enough in the long run. But for now, while it's just sitting, I'll keep it braced with a couple of pieces of wood underneath. And then you can see I was able to drill some holes in these so the pipe can feed through. And then on the outside, I've got these boards that are here. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want this to tear up the edge of, I mean, I know it's not awesome, but I just assume not self-inflict. So it's going to rest on these boards, which should allow it to roll and actually probably be quieter if it is spinning in there. I've got this lengthwise just to keep it from sliding back and forth, and then I put a cross member in just to hold the pieces against the side so that there was no inclination for them to collapse in with the weight. Yeah, so I think it's good, but I can see, you can see that it's definitely flexing in the middle. So I don't know. Well, hopefully that'll work. Anyway, I burned up my morning with this and a couple of other small things, so I'm gonna clean this up. Then I got to go run some errands in town, and then I'm gonna come back and get after it again this afternoon and see what I can do. I'm back, finished up all that stuff, so it's into the afternoon now, so I'm gonna just head on out. The other shirt was completely soaked, so I got a new color on, and I don't look like a minion. I looked like a minion before, yellow with the thing, which was a little funny when I realized that's what I look like. Rig is still holding up. Let's head out to the back and see how it works in action. Well, I hit a bump on the way out and it snapped. Engineers, scientists, people with common sense, you all know what happened. Yes, it's thin-walled pipe, but it's thin-walled pipe with the weight all at the middle of a 4-foot length. Had it been a 1-foot length, then it would have survived that trip. So I think what I'm going to need to do is bring this whole thing over to here. So now this is where the wire goes. And then I just need to reinforce the space between the edge and there so that the piece doesn't go horking out that way. That shouldn't be too hard to do. All right, here's my new solution. I think that's going to do the job. It started to rain towards the end here, so I was throwing everything inside the shed, and now it's stopping. That's good though. It means I can get back out there and get to work. But I think shorter bar. I'll leave the barbed wire off the bar while I'm driving. Good call. And that way there's no bumps and booms. I'm not going over anything but a crawl as I unwind it. That's good. Happy with that, I think. One more thing I forgot, because it seems I'm destined to never actually run the barbed wire the length there, but I watched a video. This will be worth it for the project. One of the things that I read is or saw online is that a guy who's been doing this for a while said don't skimp when it comes to setting up your base poles. I clearly haven't in terms of the size of the poles, the depths that they're in the ground. I've got a solid cross member, but there's one more thing that you need to do, which is from this corner to that corner on a diagonal is to run a couple of lines of barbed wire, then really pull those tight. And the reason is because this is going to be the anchor for a couple of 100 feet of barbed wire going that way. When we pull and put tension on it, it's going to pull all the way down the line, and this is going to want to lean in. Well, I've got that cross member, so it can use the other post, what do they call it, the buddy post or the support post, to help it not do that. But if for whatever reason, if it starts to go, it won't, because now the top of that post is actually braced to the bottom of this post. So in order for that post to tip, it has to move this post. It has to move earth. It has to pull the whole thing that way. And so it just gives it that much more strength. So that's what I got to do here and down at the other end before I actually string barbed wire. I promise I'm going to get to it. Just who knows if it's today or not. Okay, well that was a little bit ugly. And so that's done. This is set. Never having done this before. I could stand on that, I suppose. But the key is, pull it tight, but don't stretch it because it could explode. So I don't know. It's just one more last little bit of support here, I guess. I don't know. Along the way, I'll get somebody to take a look at it and tell me how I did. Looks pretty. All right, we'll go do the one at the other end, and then I'll start here and run the barbed wire down. I got this one done as well. And now I'm going to go up the other end to get started and try running my first string and see what happens. Okay, going to start the first one. I'm starting up high. I just feel like for me that's better. I've heard some people say start high, work low. I've heard others say start low and work high. So I'm just going to go what I'm comfortable with. But this is it. So I got it wrapped a couple times. It's twisted up on itself. I'll drive it down there, stretch it, and then connect it on the other end. I hate when that falls down like that. All right, just clicking it along here. Pull it to be taut, but not like a bowstring. I'm going to take a second and just walk out and look. The awesome part about me going and looking is I don't have a clue what I'm looking for. I'm going to declare that's probably far enough. So I'll put a couple of, I'll throw a couple on the floor. I'm going to put a couple of barbs on it, and or staples rather. God, there's so many things I'm probably doing wrong here. I'll put one more on the other side. Man, I'm so nervous that I'm screwing this up. I don't want to have to try and undo anything. How do I gradually release this? All the way up. There it goes. And release. It's catching on some of the things along the way. So I will take it and I will wrap it now back around itself several times. That's tied off there. Then I should go along. I can put the staple in for that height, and then I should be able to do clips now all the way down. All right, first one on there all the way down. That didn't take too long, actually. So far, so good. That tension seems to be all right. So, all right, gonna go back up and do some more. Well, there it is. That's gonna be enough for tonight, I think. Daylight's almost gone. Well, final look, I think. Got the gate in there. The ground is sloped so much, I'm going to have to level that. I may need to bring in the box blade and do that. It's scraping on that end. Wide open all the way to the other end. And from the other end, got that tree right in the middle. That could be I could take my cart all the way down there, but I haven't brought a chainsaw out here to do that yet. So all the way down this way, another tree, but whatever. I think it's nice. Here, angle, gate, which is the one that's been devastated, got hit by a car, ripped off the hinges, thrown in the woods, all kinds of stuff. And all the way here. And then next effort will be to, well, I got to keep going in either direction. So that way, deeper into the woods, the other way across the wetlands. But for now, I'm pretty pleased with it.